difference with what you find. Shine your light, let the light shine through, revealing truths.
As program evaluators, we shine our light. Curiosity, strategic thinking, and a learning mindset are all qualities we possess. We use data to facilitate learning, and in our profession, we bring into the light what was once unseen or in the dark. The Heart Math Institute explores how we each have our own unique light frequency, our own way of shining our light and doing our program evaluation work. We all have different approaches and different ways of doing the program evaluation work, but I do believe we all want to reveal truths. We use our knowledge and our expertise to improve the condition for others.
Many methodologies, strategies, illuminate a new way of thinking. We collaborate, coordinate, create a space to grow and learn. We are guides, we are teachers, we are leaders, revealing the light. Shine your light, make a difference with what you find. Shine your light, let the light shine through, revealing truths.
Revealing truths. That's some of what we do. We hold up to the light a truth that may not be seen otherwise. And without this light, programs are operating in the dark, guessing at what works best. They may be assuming that they are meeting their goals and assuming they have defined goals, right? As program evaluators, we are guides. We help organizations make decisions, large and small, grounded in data. Early in my career, I heard stories of organizations that didn't want to do program evaluation at all because, hey, they thought they were already making a difference, so why measure it? Or other organizations that would spin data to satisfy funder reporting requirements. I was shocked at this and maybe a little bit naive, but then I became determined to help organizations understand how data can help them. Let me take you back a few years ago. I had sent a report to a client and he called me and said, the data are wrong. Well, a pit grew in my stomach and I think my blood pressure went up. I was confused. It was a good mid-year report. It was filled with what was going well, where improvements were needed, and they were laser focused on where improvements were needed. Specifically, one finding that showed all of the participants felt communications were poor. My client insisted, we are communicating with them. We email them, we talk, we hold meetings, and therefore the data are wrong and we absolutely, positively cannot send this to our funder. And there it was, staring me right in the face of why people twist data, why they spin data. They're afraid. Afraid they will lose funding, afraid that maybe they're not making the difference they thought they were making. So as program evaluators, what can we do? How can we shine our light? It's our job to gather the data, right? To make sure we're asking the right questions of the right people, providing a data analysis to illuminate the successes, the challenges, the opportunities. But when we're working with people who are invested in the program and they want straight A's, nothing less, this can invite fear. There's money on the line, and we know money can equal power. This can invite more fear. Fear of losing a job, losing funding, so much fear. As program evaluators, we can help to alleviate this fear. We can shine our light with insight. That data that reveal a challenge is really a learning opportunity. It's not something to fear, but something to embrace and to grow from. Something to take action on and be willing to change how you're doing things. So with this client, we created a one-page program improvement plan, and it detailed what we found, what new communication methods will be used, and how we will measure it again. They sent that along with the unchanged evaluation report. And the good news, the funder was thrilled. They really appreciated the honesty and transparency that the client showed. And the following year, they received even more money for a different report. The funder said it was because of that honesty, their willingness to be a learning organization, to use data to improve. But for me, the real success was shining that light on how they can shift from a culture of fear to a culture of learning, of wanting to use data to learn. So as program evaluators, we can help others understand how data can facilitate change and how there's power in data. This is something Talithia Williams and I talked about. She shared how there's power in data. She is our Thursday plenary session speaker, and she joins us now to share her thoughts on how we shine our light.
When I think about this virtual theme of shining your light, it makes me think about the word agency. At the core of who we are, we all have agency, and in a way, data gives us agency. It gives us sort of the fuel to make the change necessary that we need to see in society. And sometimes we think like, I'm so small, I'm this individual, what can I do with my data agency, so to speak? I remember there's an intro course that I teach at Harvey Mudd, just an intro statistics course that all of our students have to take, all of our first year students. And I really wanted to challenge them. I wanted to show them sort of the power of data, the power of numbers, how small decisions can impact so many people's lives when it comes to statistics and data. And I did this by creating a final project at the end of the semester where all of my students had to analyze the New York City stop, question, and frisk data set. And for many of my students, it was the first time that they'd ever sort of looked at data through a lens of equity, of social justice, of sort of seeing discrepancies come up in the data and then starting to question the laws that were in place. So as we think about how you might shine your light in the work that we do, I want you to keep that in mind, how you might use data as a form of agency.
There's power in data that can lead to decisions to make small changes that may impact so many lives through a lens of equity, of social justice. Much is learned of what to change.
Let's talk about a truth in our culture. We often operate from the neck up. Our brains dominate our actions. Let me tell you an example. First thing in the morning, I wake up and my brain is ticking with a to-do list of what to do for the day. My body's going through the motions of getting coffee and waking the kids, and my heart is excluded completely from what's happening. And then the next thing I know, I can't find my keys, I can't find my phone, or both, because I was so stuck in my head that I wasn't aware of what was going on around me. Does this sound familiar? Well, as program evaluators, the connection between our brain and our heart is critical so that we show up with our full selves, shining our light as brightly as possible. Interestingly, the Heart Math Institute has done some research on this, exploring how the heart and the brain communicate. And that traditionally, it was thought that the brain was the command center and that the heart just responded to it. But what they found is that the heart and the brain is actually a two-way street. So when our heart is able to communicate with the brain, we are applying our full self and we're able to strengthen the light that we bring. Deep and authentic listening comes from the heart, and the technical expertise comes from our brain. So opening the communication between them both allows us to strengthen the light that we bring. Heart intelligence includes things like deep and authentic listening, trust, empathy, and so much more. When we are mindful of cultivating the heart and the brain communication, we can do more. We shine more. Let me share a story with you. Years ago, I was working with an organization, and the first staff meeting that I attended, one staff member greeted me with folded arms and skepticism all over his face. Well, I give everybody a brief survey to understand their thoughts on how they feel about program evaluation. And his responses piqued my curiosity. The first question, what do you hope to learn about program evaluation and the data collected? And his response, nothing. The second question, any concerns about the evaluation? And his response, it will be a waste of time. Okay, well, I don't share these results with my client. They're really for me to get to know the people that I'm going to be working with. So I reached out to him personally, and I asked him if he'd be willing to share a little bit more with me about why he responded the way he did. So my brain knew all of the technical expertise to make a sound program evaluation plan for this organization. But my heart also knew that this person was not going to engage unless I could connect with him and understand where he was coming from. He shared with me his former workplace mandated program evaluation. With no input from staff, they were simply told what to do, and it truly was a burden. I listened, I validated, and I invited him to be open to the possibility that this experience would be different. It was collaborative. His voice mattered along with everybody else's, and that we were going to be gathering data that would be useful to both him and the entire organization. Well, he didn't, jump on board right away, but little by little by little, he started to get more engaged with the process when he started to see it truly was going to be collaborative. So as program evaluators, there's an opportunity to make sure our heart and our brain are communicating with each other so that we show up with the technical expertise, right? The survey design, the data analysis, all of those technical pieces that reside in the brain. And we show up with the heart intelligence. This includes the skills like deep and authentic listening, trust, and empathy. These all reside in the heart. The pathway between these two, when it's open, we strengthen how we shine our light. By not living from the neck up, and instead with our whole selves, we can do more, and we shine more, and maybe even sometimes can find our phone and our keys. But there's more to the heart than its intelligence. It's where love resides, and love is a powerful force, something that can be measured. Chari Tang and Sammy Nunez wrote a powerful brown paper, Measuring Love in the Journey for Justice. And in it, they talk about how love is an antidote to injustice. And if love can transform, how do we measure that? This is answered in their brown paper. And now we're joined by Sammy, Chari, and their colleague Audrey Jordan to share their thoughts on how we shine our light.
Cuando despierto, papa sol sombría, es un nuevo día para ser feliz, para ser feliz. Every day we wake up, the grandfather sun is there to greet us, smiling down upon us with warmth. Even in our darkest days, grandfather is right behind those clouds, waiting to peek through and shine through and illuminate the darkness. And he's always smiling down on us, just like that. Teaching, right? We always get up and we always show up. That's the first lesson first teaching is to show up and show up with warmth and show up with happiness in the face of darkness, and it'll penetrate that darkness. And then in that darkness, in our darkest moments, haven't we had the most profound lessons in our lives, right? And the fact is that when we look back and see all of this, both with the COVID in the last 9 months, or the last 500 plus years, right, of colonization and understanding. There's been many dark times in between this that have really, I think, the others have illuminated the love within that darkness. And it's a powerful thing, right? To be able to navigate with love these kind of dark times that we're faced with.
Woo. I feel like the ways I shine my light is to be truthful, is to not sugarcoat, not hide under a bushel, and let the truth of our community's voices, way too long marginalized, distorted, retold with other words by other people. I'm going to shine light on that to end it. We need to tell our own stories in our own ways, in our own words, with our own feelings. I'm going to shine my light there.
I am so inspired by the both of you and by the lights that I see shining in this dark moment in our country, in this shadow moment, I'd rather say, in our country. And light has a way, as Chari said, of shining, making plain that shadow. Light also has a way of filling us and coming together as our lights come together as a powerful force for showing the way out of this madness. And, you've spoken of this before, Sammy and Chari, you do often, and you remind me that we as people of color have been in dark shadow times many times before. This may be new to some people, having to be in the midst of 4 pandemics, one that's 400 years long. But it's not news for us. And so how do we stay on that surfboard, as you said, Sammy, riding the wave, just like we've done so many times before, letting our light shine? That's what I'm thinking about. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Your light, let the light shine through, revealing truths. Shine truth on many voices to tell their own stories with their own words in this dark shadow for so many years before. And this moment is amplified. We fill it with light. We navigate with love. Illuminate out of the darkness.
Wow. Thank you so much, Chari. That was amazing. I hope everybody enjoyed the opening for our Eval20 today. And let's take a minute, everybody, and post out into social media world on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on Instagram, using the hashtags here below. Let's bring all of the social media world into our virtual experience.
I think that's a great idea.
And now that everybody knows the exciting things that are going to be happening at Eval20, how are people supposed to navigate the virtual platform?
Well, it's funny you say that, Amy, because I wrote a song to help people navigate around in the virtual experience.
Of course you did, Chari.
Of course I did. It's so much fun. Okay, well, let's transition right over to that song. Enjoy, everyone.
Over the next 4 days, Eval 2020 is reimagined. Not a conference, but a virtual experience. We connect with each other across multiple time zones in cyberspace, bringing this virtual experience straight into the safety of your home or your office.
Eval 2020 Reimagined, we're together while we're apart. There's advantages to a virtual platform, let me tell you what they are. You can show up in your PJs, but you should probably brush your hair. Take in more than 100 sessions, there's a lot to share. It's Eval 2020 Reimagined, we're together while we're apart. There's live and pre-recorded sessions, 120 in all. You can watch it in real time or later this fall. That's right, for up to 3 months you can watch it again and again. More time to take it all in. It's Eval 2020 Reimagined, we're together while we're apart. See more than 200 posters over all 4 days. Go to a TIG business meeting, connect and engage. Visit the Virtual Connection Center, there's much to find. Meet with the exhibitors and you don't have to wait in line. It's Eval 2020 Reimagined, we're together while we're apart. You can schedule an online meeting anytime. An Eval 2020 calendar is easy to find. Request a meeting with an exhibitor or attendee too. It's your choice to network with who you want to. It's Eval 2020 Reimagined, we're together while we're apart. It's Eval 2020 Reimagined, we're together while we're apart. Let's close out this opening session so you can start.